Welcome back, guys. And today we'll be concluding the first unit of business communication. And the two of the topics that are left are the process of communication, which is very important, as well as the types or the forms of communication. Both the topics are very important, and we start with the very first topic, that is the communication process. Now, any process consists of so many sequential or interrelated steps. So, communication process also has many of the interrelated and sequential steps, and it has certain elements. It starts with sender and it ends with the feedback that the sender gets. The whole process is supposed to be completed only when the sender gets the feedback. So we begin with the very first element of business communication process, that is the sender. Now, sender is the person who transmits a particular message. He is also called the communicator, and he is the one who gets the entire process of communication started. He wants to get his opinions, his facts, his ideas, thoughts, his and the other information across to the receiver. He is therefore said to be the transmitter of the particular message. The second element is that of encoding, where uh, the this process basically starts when the thoughts are converted to suitable words, charts, symbols, or any form in which they can be understood by the receiver. And this particular process is called encoding, where the receiver tries to understand those messages through the help of any chart or any, say, symbol or suitable words. And the choice of the method of communication made here will be uh, either verbal or non-verbal. Then we have the third process, that is a channel. Third step is channel. Now, for communication to happen, there should be a particular channel. This channel can be a letter, or an email, a fax, or a telephonic message, or a memo, or reports, bulletins, posters, manuals, be it anything. And some factors that influences the choice of a channel includes the gravity of the message. How important is the message? The number of receivers. How many receivers are there? The cost involved. How much money uh, is uh, is uh, is involving to deliver that particular message. The amount of information that sender wants to share with the receiver. So all these factors, they have an impact on the choice of channel. The next element or the next process or steps is that of a receiver. The person who receives the message decodes it and understands it or attaches some meaning to it is called the receiver. Receiver is a person who not only receives the message but he also decodes the message. He understands it, he attaches some meaning to the particular message, and then he becomes the receiver. So he has to perform some functions when he receives the message. First is that of reception. When he receives the message from the sender, the second is he decodes the message. Now he tries to understand, he tries to go down into the particular message, and he tries to understands, and he attaches some meaning to the particular message. And the final is where he understands the essence he tries to understand the sense that matter was sent through the the sender to him. So these three steps he needs to follow. Then the next step is that of decoding, where the receiver, what is decoding? It is the interpretation of the message by the sender to the receiver, where the receiver tries to interpret the message sent by the sender, and he tries to analyze those messages, he tries to understand those messages, he tries to convert the messages into thoughts, and then he attaches some meaning to the message. That is the why this particular message was sent. Then we have the feedback. This is the final step of communication, and it means receiver's response to sender's message. What response has he given to the message sent by the sender? Now, this particular feedback can increase the effectiveness of the communication. It can ensure the sender that the receiver understood his message correctly. And of course, feedback is an essence of a two-way communication. So this is very necessary, where the sender where the receiver tries to understand the particular message. So feedback is very necessary. The communication is said to be complete only when the feedback is ensured by the receiver. Now we come to the next topic, that is I'll be uploading the notes of this particular discussion that we have done just now. So we now start with the second topic, or you can say the concluding part of Unit 1, that is the forms, the types of business communication. Now, as we all know that there are various types of communication which we need to understand, and these types of the forms are based on so many criterias. We'll discuss each and every criteria. So the very first criteria is that of structure. Communication is based on structure. Now, on structure, it can be formal and it can be informal. Formal, where you have a regular and organized channel of work related communication within a company, where the employees have to coordinate through a proper medium among themselves. So it is a regular, what is formal communication? It is a regular and organized channel of communication for the work, and it happens within the particular company. Now, even a formal communication has so many forms, like it can be chain communication, it can be a wheel communication, where the sender has so many receivers in the form of wheel. Now, it can be a circular one, it can be a free flow communication, where the sender can send his message to anyone. That is a free flow communication. In times of emergency in the organization, he can send a particular message to anyone. Then we have the inverted V type, inverted communication. Then we come to these are the different types of communication that comes under formal communication. Then the next communication is informal communication. Now, if it is unofficial form of communication arising out of friendship or casual relations, we call it informal communication. Now, you have again certain divisions under informal communication. It can be a single strand, it goes in a particular line from one person to the other. It can be a gossip, which we call grapevine. Now, what happens in gossip or grapevine? One single person spreads information within an informal group where the message may or may not be valid. This pattern is also called grapevine. So what happens? Grapevine is just like gossiping, where a particular person tries to spread the information within an informal group. It is not a formal group because we are talking about informal communication. So grapevine happens in informal group where a particular person tries to transmit his message within a informal group, and maybe that message may be just a mere message. It may not be so much valid. Still we call it gossip or grapevine. Then you have a next sort of informal communication. This is called probability, and it is also very similar to gossiping, but here it is not necessary that everyone is involved in the communication. In what happens in gossip, so many people are involved, but in probability it may be two or three persons, only two or three persons are involved in the conversation or in the exchange of message. And next we have cluster. What happens in cluster? When a person passes an information only to his trustworthy people, believing that they won't tell to anyone, but they do the same thing. Thus, the message spreads to a selected number of people, and this particular network is called a cluster. This I'll explain a little bit. What happens in cluster? It is it happens in such a situation that you try to tell a particular person a certain secret information, and you expect that that particular person will not transmit the message to the other people, but he does so in the process. And what happens that the message spreads to a selected group of people, and such sort of informal communication is called a cluster communication. Now we have the second criteria, that is based on medium of communication. On the basis of communication, we have verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Verbal communication can be oral or written, and non-verbal communication can be kinesis, paralanguage, chronomex, artifacts, proxemics, and haptics. Now, verbal, as you all know, transmission of information in which there are exchange of words, whether written or said. This is verbal communication. And written, we all know, when we write the messages, we need to transmit. It is called written communication. Now, we will now discuss about non-verbal communication. This is very important again. It can come into a short notes. Now, there are different types of non-verbal communication. Now, please listen carefully. There are different types of non-verbal communication, including kinesis, paralanguages, artifacts, chronomex, haptics, proxemics, and so on. The first is kinesis. Now, kinesis refers to interactions through facial expressions, body language, eye contact, gestures, postures, etc. However, paralanguage is the way we speak, that is tone, volume, pitch, etc. You must have often seen some people talking very feebly. बहुत धीरे धीरे बोलते हैं, कुछ लोग बहुत हाई वॉल्यूम में बोलते हैं, कुछ लोग का पिच बहुत हाई रहता है. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड पैरा लैंग्वेज. काइनेसिस इज व्हाट? योर फेशियल एक्सप्रेशंस, your body language, the way you sit, the way you walk, the way you have your postures. These are the way you have eye contact. So all those comprises of kinesis. The third is artifacts. Artefacts. Now, the artifacts includes your personality, your appearance, your outlook, your dressing sense, your presentability of a person, of a particular person. How you look is artifacts. How you present yourself is artifacts. Now, then we have chronomics. Now, this is the timing, the punctuality, pause while speaking. Some people go speak very quickly and very swiftly too. Some people बहुत समझा समझा के बोलते हैं. कुछ लोग बड़ा ही क्लियर नहीं बोलते हैं. सो द वे यू स्पीक, आप कितना टाइमिंग, पंक्चुअलिटी, आप कितना पॉज देते हैं अपने स्पीकिंग में, दिस इज कॉल्ड क्रोनोमिक्स. देन वी हैव प्रॉक्सिमिक्स. This is the distance while a person maintains while communicating with others, while and they speak a lot about the relationship between the two. Then we have haptics, the touch or inform about the feelings and expressiveness of a person. This is called haptics. Now then we have the third criteria, that is based on direction. We have done two criteria already. The third criteria is based on flow of direction. Now, upon the flow of direction, a message, a communication could be upward, downward, horizontal, or diagonal. Upward is what? In upward communication, what happens? The subordinates share his problems, suggestions, ideas with their seniors. This is called the upward communication. Then comes the downward communication. When the seniors pass on orders, ऊपर से आता है. So when the seniors pass on orders, instructions, rules, norms, etc. to their subordinates, it is known as downward communication. तो जब subordinates senior को बताते हैं, कुछ बोलते हैं, suggestions देते हैं, information देते हैं, that is called upward. और जब ऊपर से नीचे आता है, we call it downward. Then we have horizontal communication. What is horizontal communication? This way communication. Now in horizontal communication, it happens when two people holding a similar position in an organization. दो बंदे हैं जिनका similar position है organization में, and they exchange a particular information. It is known as horizontal communication. For example, a sales manager provides the sales revenue sheet to the finance manager. This is both are having a similar sort of work as well as status as well as what do you call position. So they can. This is called horizontal communication. Then we have the diagonal communication. We know diagonal, this sort. When the senior of a particular department shares some information with the subordinates of the other department. So diagonal, ऊपर से ये नीचे आ रहा है, या नीचे से ऐसे जा रहा है, ऊपर से नीचे आ रहा है, diagonals. So what happens? Senior of a particular department shares information with the subordinate of the other department. दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट का सीनियर है और दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट का सबऑर्डिनेट है, वो दोनों जब शेयर करते हैं, एंड वाइस वर्सा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ ह्यूमन रिसोर्स मैनेजर, or we call it the HRM manager, wants a sales executive for excessive leaves. वो जब एक HR मैनेजर दूसरे पर्टिकुलर डिपार्टमेंट का एक HR मैनेजर एक डिपार्टमेंट का दूसरे सबऑर्डिनेट्स अपने सबऑर्डिनेट्स दूसरे डिपार्टमेंट को जो वार्न करता है रिगार्डिंग एक्सेसिव लीव्स, वी कॉल इट डायगोनल communication. I'll give you an example. HR manager, there are HR manager in a particular company. There are also marketing managers. There are also marketing executives. There are finance executives. So when an HR manager tells a finance executive that, or warns a finance executive or a marketing executive that you have taken leave more than necessary, we call it diagonal communication, right? Now the next criteria is based on response. Now on the basis of response, communication can be one-way communication and a two-way communication. One-way communication में क्या होता है? The sender passes the information to the receiver without seeking any response or feedback. जैसे कि एक एक एडवर्टीजमेंट जब टीवी पे आता है तो इट इज़ ओनली सेंडिंग द मैसेज, आपका रिस्पॉन्स वो देख नहीं पाता कि आप उस मैसेज को देख के क्या रिस्पॉन्स देते हैं. What is a two-way communication? When the sender shares the information with the receiver and in return the receiver responds to such information. जब सेंडर ने रिसीवर को एक इंफॉर्मेशन भेजा, उसके रिस्पॉन्स में रिसीवर ने भी उसको फीडबैक दिया. वी कॉल इट अ टू वे कम्युनिकेशन. For example, the manager discusses the problems of low productivity with the team and the team give them रीजंस फॉर द सेम. तो सेंडर ने रिसीवर को मैसेज दिया और रिसीवर ने भी सेंडर को फीडबैक दिया कि क्यों सेल मेरा लो हुआ था. Now we come to the next topic. This was all about the forms of communication. Now we will deal with the importance of communication. Why communication is so important? This is very in literal meaning. Why do communicate? Why do we communicate? We communicate show that